Harris under investigation by legal group over her tenure as prosecutor. Finally, someone is coming after her from the stuff, the legal, dirty stuff she did when she was a prosecutor in AG in California. Democrats set the president. They the ones that started this. They're the ones that committed try to take out political opponents by using lawfare. And so now conservatives and Republicans are flipping it and using it against them. But the difference here is there is actual malfeasance here when it comes to Harris, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right. Also, check me out on X too. I post news throughout the day there as well. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from the Conservative Brief from John Daugherty, and he reports that a noted conservative legal organization has launched several investigations into Vice President Kamala Harris's time as prosecutor and attorney general in California as she launches her presidential bid, in part based on a claim she was, quote, tough on crime. Quote, from locking up parents whose children had chronically missed school to supporting a bail fund that led violent Black Lives Matter rioters out of jail in 2020, Harris's approach to criminal justice is facing fresh scrutiny, Fox News reported last week, citing the newly launched investigation by America First Legal. The group is alleging that Harris, quote, has proven to be the most radically progressive vice president in American history. A lot of her tough on crime reputation goes to her prosecution when she was, excuse me, when she was San Francisco DA. Individuals who use marijuana and other sort of things. Dan Epstein, president of AFL, told Fox News Digital, quote, our investigation, however, makes it very clear that Kamala Harris does not believe much in terms of statutes passed by legislatures, including the federal United States Congress, as well as the state of California. Excuse me. What he's talking about here, some of y'all might not know, against, excuse me, let me get something to sip on really quick. Against the Supreme Court statute, she left people locked up in prison, which is just despicable. Through public records requests to California Attorney General's office, AFL is investigating Harris for several issues, including non-compliance with federal donor privacy laws. So she getting donors and they're not being disclosed. Failure to enforce federal immigration laws. Of course, she was dubbed, even though the mainstream media tried to lie about it, she was dubbed the border czar and didn't do anything to secure or protect the border. Inadequate pursuit of equal justice. I think that has to do with her allowing criminals, Blackstreet Matter rioters out of jail, I should say. A lack of disclosure of conflicts of interest. Failure to address evidence of misconduct. The nature of investigations by the California Fair Practices Commission and potential cover-ups of misconduct evidence, Fox reported. It goes on to say, and so those are really our probes of her not following the rule of law and bending it for a political objective, Epstein told the outlet. We also probe numerous kinds of potential ethics issues and failures to disclose conflicts of interest, allowing her own staff as Attorney General to engage in fraud and not kind of overseeing that. Early in her legal career, Harris was romantically involved with California Assembly Speaker Willie Brown. We all know about that, who is said to have helped her obtain influential positions at the California Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and the California Medical Assistance Commission. AFL is now looking into whether Harris received improper political favoritism and whether she adequately recused herself or disclosed any conflicts of interest, the report said. Fox added, During her 2020 presidential campaign, which she launched in January 2019, Harris faced significant criticism over her prosecutorial record. Opponents of tough on crime prosecutions argue it disproportionately affects low-income families and minorities, further entrenching them in the prison system. So black folk that's supporting her, that think because she's got the same skin color as you, she's gonna have your best interests at heart. She's not. She will lock your black ass up too. One of the most criticized aspects of Harris's record was her handling of school truancy cases. She locked up parents. It was just despicable. Harris supported a truancy law passed in 2011 that allowed district attorneys to charge parents with a misdemeanor if their children were chronically absent during the school year without a valid reason. In 2019, Molly Redden of HuffPost examined the impact of the truancy program on families in her article, quote, "The human cost of Kamala Harris's war on truancy." One of those affected was Cherie Peoples, an African-American mother who was arrested in April 2013 after her child had missed 20 days of school. Later, Harris backed off her truancy crackdown in 2019 in a 2019 podcast, saying it, quote, "never was the intention to criminalize parents," and describing the California law as one with unintended consequences, Politico reported at then. So what do you think was going to happen when you give someone a misdemeanor for a child missing 20 days of school? I mean, what do you don't think they're going to end up getting locked up and things like that? See, they never think about the consequences of their laws. They want to enact things that makes them feel good or makes their constituents feel good, but never deal with the consequences of that. She also faces criticism for being overly harsh on low-income drug offenders during her tenure as San Francisco District Attorney and later as the State Attorney General. Liberal critics argued that her policies contributed to the mass incarceration of black men rather than emphasizing rehabilitation and criminal justice reform. Now, mind you, she's the same person that says she got your best interests at heart, black folk, black men, but a lot of black men ain't falling for it. A lot of us is not falling for it. We are not voting for Kamala Harris. We already know her deal, and I'm super hopeful about the future by seeing a lot of black men speaking out against her. But in June 2020, Harris promoted the bail fund that helped Black Lives Matter rioters out of jail, but only a fraction of the more than $41 million actually went to freeing rioters. Fox reported that as of a week ago, the site was still up and collecting donations. Wow. Quote, "It's fairly clear that nobody disagrees that Trump is a felon because of political prosecution," Epstein said, and that is correct. And if the standard for Kamala Harris is that the process that led to Donald Trump being convicted is one of justice and one that she follows, then logically it means that she is a political prosecutor, not a fair, honest broker. And I agree. I don't know what's going to happen with this case. It's definitely not. I don't think anything's going to happen before the 2020 before November when everyone votes. But we'll see what happens with this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.